Are more expensive caliper tools actually more accurate? I don't know how or why, but over the years I have been making things, I have somehow ended up with 3 different sets of caliper tools, and they're roughly 3 different price points. The first one is the Pittsburgh brand. It's from Harbor Freight and it costs roughly $10. The second one is the Husky brand and it's from Home Depot and costs roughly $40. And the third one is by General Tools. It's from somewhere online and it is roughly $42 to $43. Now keep in mind, some of these caliper tools I purchased several years ago, so the prices of these could have changed as of the making of this video. To start off with a quick review on each, I want to talk about the Pittsburgh brand. This is the Pittsburgh 6-inch composite digital caliper. It is made of plastic, at least along the shaft. The casing here is made of plastic. It does not have a lock function. A lot of calipers, you can open it, put a set screw here that will lock it in place so that that measurement does not move. This one does not have that. It also does not have the piece that you can measure depth out the back. A lot of times you'll see calipers and you'll see on the other models where when you slide this, there's a pin that sticks out the back and you can put it in something to measure the depth. To be frank with you, this does feel cheap. The plastic is a little bit flimsy, but you know, nothing has broke and I have put this through the ringer as far as wear and tear. I have had this about 5 years and frankly, I've used it almost every day, at the minimum, probably 4 to 5 times a week. It does have both outside and inside forks here that you can measure. So if you were wanting to measure the outside diameter, you can use these. If you want to measure the inside of a hole, you can use the inside forks here on top. So turning it on, it does have inches and millimeters options depending on which unit of measurement you want to use. But if I set it to inches and I hit the 0 button, it does in fact go to 0 when the forks are completely closed. And then as I slide it open and closed, the numbers do change. So that's at least a good start. If I open this all the way up, it goes to 6.08 inches. And the trick here to test is if I go all the way closed, does it go back to 0? And no, it does not. On that one, it goes to 1.8 inches. Let me 0 again and try again. If I open all the way up and then all the way back, that time it went to 0. These calipers are sold pretty much as is. In fact, I think they were on a hook at Harbor Freight. Again, roughly $10. Moving over into the Husky brand from Home Depot. This one does come with a plastic case. Not much in here, just room for the calipers and a little tray down here, I think for a marking knife or a pen or something. But the calipers themselves are made from metal. The casing is made of plastic and the buttons are red plastic as well. When you turn it on and you go through the modes, you do have millimeters, inches, and fractions. You set the 0 here. Let's open this all the way up. 6.10 and all the way closed. It's down to 0.00. This one does have the set screw on top. So as you open this, you can tighten this down so that that does not slide anymore and it stays, your measurement stays exactly where it was supposed to be. Loosening up the set screw, this one has the roller wheel adjustment on the bottom. This is designed for super fine adjustments, very micro movements. You don't want to adjust something very much at all. This is a way that you can use your thumb to just barely open or close those forks. And with the forks, they are metal as well. They have the inside measurement and the outside measurement forks. This one also has the depth fork or the depth pin here at the end. Again, if you wanted to measure the thickness of this, but you weren't able to get around it, you could sit it down, rest it, and kind of go down like that. And you know that that's your measurement, the thickness of this. The battery cover is well secured with a set screw on the front, but then you can just use your thumb to slide it off and replace it. And then on the shaft of the calipers themselves, there is notations and markings for both inches and millimeter measurements. This one does feel quite heavy duty, especially in comparison to the Pittsburgh brand. At the time that I purchased this, it was around $40. And now moving into the General Tools brand, this one comes with a plastic carrying case as well, almost identical to the Husky brand with openings for the calipers themselves, as well as a pen or a marking tool down at the bottom. This one, I do notice that everything appears at first glance to be entirely made of metal. However, the shaft and the forks are all made of stainless steel, but the casing is actually a plastic that's just colored like metal. This model actually appears to be almost identical as the brand of the Husky. Just the coloring on it's a little different, but it does have the set screw on top, the thumb adjustment on the bottom, as well as the depth pin down here, both inside and outside measurement forks. When you turn this one on and go through the modes, you have the exact same modes as before with inches, inches and fractions, and then millimeters. Setting it to 0, opening it all the way up, it goes to 6.13. closing it all the way, it does reset back to 0. So to see which set of calipers is the most accurate or if they are cross-checked, I have some setup blocks here that are machined aluminum that I know are dead accurate. I have one that is 1/16 of an inch thick, 5/16, 3/4, as well as a 1x2x3 block. So this is 1 inch exactly, 2 inches exactly, and this is exactly 3 inches. Using our cheap $10 Pittsburgh brand, I'm gonna measure the 5/16 in inches. And if you convert 5/16 to decimals, it's 0.3125 inches. And in this case, it comes up to 0.31 exactly. Using the General Tools brand, 0.3125 on the head. And moving over to Husky, 0.3120. Now to do something extremely small that the forks will just barely open, I'll get these closed back and put them at 0, reset the 0, and then I'm gonna do a 1/16 of an inch, which is 0.0625. So the General Tools registers at 0.0615. The Husky brand registers at 0.0600, and the Pittsburgh brand registers at 0.05. In fairness, this one only goes to 2 decimal points. Now to go a little bit bigger, we'll do 3/4 with the Pittsburgh brand, 0.74. The Husky brand registers 3/4 block at 0.7475, and the General Tools brand registers 3/4 at 0.7475 as well. Now to spread out these forks a little bit, we'll do 3 inches here on the General Tools calipers. This measures 3.006. The Pittsburgh brand registers 2.99, and the Husky brand registers 3 inches at 2.9990. In fairness, the only one out of these 3 that gives a disclaimer is the Pittsburgh brand. On the back, it clearly states that it is accuracy plus or minus 0.01 inches or plus or minus 0.2 millimeters. So of these 3, does cost really matter with accuracy? In my opinion, no. I'm also not a fine precision metal machinist. Metal is a lot less forgiving than wood. Most of what I do is woodworking and working with plastics and soft metals sometimes, but mostly plastics and woods. And for everything that I do with CNC routers and even just thickness planing and stuff, these 3 calipers, even on the cheap side, do just fine for what I'm doing. Now with calipers, just like any tool, you can get into mega money spent on these. You can get them upwards of a couple hundred or maybe even into the thousands of dollars if you're willing to spend that. I should also mention that all 3 of these are digital calipers. They also make analog calipers that have a dial that measures in thousandths of an inch. So which one should you buy if you need calipers and you're just doing your average woodworking? In my opinion, the $10 calipers will do just fine. And in fact, this was the first pair that I bought and they have never let me down. If you're in need of a set of calipers and you want to find a decent model, I'll link below to a few of them that you can look and purchase for yourself. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future videos. That's all for now. Take care.